So my goal here is to have you live here today wanting to deploy stuff. Well, as they said, my name is Andrei. I work at Klarna, and I want to talk something about that helped us immensely in the past few months, which is AWS CDK, infrastructure as code. So let's say you coded a perfectly nice, scalable, bug-free application, and now you have to deploy it. How do you do it? You may be thinking Heroku or Zeit or other managed service that can do this for you. Well, it's a great alternative, but what if you need some more granular control on how to do this kind of thing, or some way of deployment that you can scale up easily in the future? Well, you can do like I always did, and you go cheap. You surf in all those cloud free tier providers like Google, Amazon, IBM, Azure, spawn those machines, SSH into there, Git clone, Docker, Swarm, whatever, and then you get everything ready for your deployment. How hard can it be? Well, pretty hard. You may have not noticed, but going this route takes more steps and knowledge in deployment than you may feel comfortable with. So this is not the ideal solution to have something scalable in the future. And I'm going to give you 3 reasons why. First of all, if you want to do this properly in Amazon, you would need to write a CloudFormation file, which is very iffy in itself. Second, if you do choose to write the CloudFormation file, you would still need to tolerate the horrible code reviews and onboarding process in your team, or this giant monstrosity of a thing that you have in your repo that nobody understands really how it works. But you have some alternatives. So number 3 is basically Terraform and Ansible, which are alternatives to infrastructure as code. But for those, you would still need to learn a whole new framework and language to do one thing and one thing only. Arguably, not a fun one, right? So how do we solve this? Well, AWS CDK. CDK is a tool that helps you write infrastructure as code in the language that you're most familiar with, JavaScript or TypeScript, even Java, Python, C#, whatever, what floats your boat. My team, for example, we had to develop a very complex feature in the past few months that spawned across a plethora of services in Amazon, and we managed to get it done in less than a week, which I personally find very impressive. CDK abstracts the CloudFormation file that you would need to write for this kind of stuff, and takes care of all the deployment parts and configuration steps that you would need to study and learn how to do it first. Okay, everything is great, but we have not seen code, and this is a JavaScript conference after all. Well, this is the most basic app I could come up with. It's basically a CDK app with one stack, smooth stack. This is the stack itself. It's basically a VPC with an EC2 inside it. For those not well versed into Amazon lingo, a VPC is a very weird black box that takes a little time to get the hang of it, and it's hard to deploy, hard to configure, so having it in one line is kind of marvelous. This is the diff you're going to see in your terminal once you try to deploy a stack. Basically, it shows everything now because we have not deployed the stack yet, so we're just creating it. And this is CDK deploying your stack for you. It takes care of everything, configures everything, and it shows you in real time what is happening, so you have total control over it. But, well, don't take my word for it. This is the giant monstrosity of a CloudFormation file you would need to write to get this stuff done. 2 things worth mentioning. This is 480 lines long, and it's not JavaScript. But not everything is perfect, though, as CDK is very early in its development, and you may or may not find some edge cases that don't actually work for you, so you may need to wait for an update, but there's not a problem, because they run through updates very fast, so don't let that scare you off. This is still the best way to get code into production as of today. To sum it all up, if you want to write your infrastructure in a familiar way so all of your developers can take a peek on it, or you want to facilitate code reviews and this kind of stuff, you want to leverage the power of TypeScript auto-completion, separate your things into blocks so you can reuse them throughout your architecture, CDK is your choice. Even with caveats, this is still a fast way to get infrastructure done, and the time to product is extraordinary. Well, that's all I have for today. Thank you for your time. You can find the code above.